Hello, hello. Good morning, good evening. Welcome to the Security Sunday stream. I am Bitkee, and I'm gonna talk today about cold storage and all the different kinds of seed backups that there are. There are the kinds out of metal, there are round ones, there are weird shaped ones, there are rectangle ones. There are some made out of aluminum, some are made out of steel, and so on. You got all different kinds. I'm just gonna check out some pictures from the James Lopp blog on his website and some other stuff. And it's gonna be gory, it's gonna be funny, it's gonna be hopefully entertaining, and maybe we learn something about which one to use and which one not. Let's see. So, and I'm also gonna drop the link into the chat for everybody in case somebody wants to follow along. This is the book. There you go. And let's bring it up. Hello there. Welcome to the stream. Okay. Zoom in a little bit. So I'm still on StreamYard right now, but I think I'm gonna try and transition over to the YouTube native next week. So we'll have 1080p, a little bit bigger. This one can only go to 720p. Okay, so we got the James Lopp block. That's a hard to say word, 3 in a row. And he has this part 1 to 5 here, where he is showing off different kinds of seed storage, and he's stress testing them. He's going through the main parts, which is heat, crush, and acid resistance. So he's putting them under all these stresses, and then checks out, is it still readable? How can you restore your seed backup in a real life situation? Let's imagine your house is on fire, it crumbles, and whatever happens, maybe there is a flood or something, and seawater gets into your basement where your seed backup is stored. Then how would you fare? How would you restore your backup if you stored it into these kinds of backups? So let's go here. So this is just an overview of the different kinds, how he's testing and everything, and how some of the manufacturers advertise. So they say, yeah, waterproof, fireproof, shockproof, hackerproof, U-proof. That's just a normal one. And then he's showing how they come. And then he has a few different ones here already by CryptoHex, CryptoCard, Blockplate, Seedplate, the Hodl Wallet, and so on. And this is how you set them up. So this one, for example, it has all these little tiles here where you can set up your seed words. This one is just random what he set up here, but usually you would have your words here. So this one has 13 to 24, and then the other side or a second wallet would be actually, is it? Yeah, there is 2. Yeah, so on the other one you would have 1 to 12. These are the different types. So you have the etching and the stamping. You can see that there is an indent, and then that makes a difference for when you want to recover them, what kind of results you get, which one is better. You will see that later on as well. So here is the stamping tools. Let me zoom it just a little bit more on that. So these are the stamping kits that you can usually find on Amazon or on the website that have different kinds of tools. And you can find them in your local store sometimes as well. Anything where you have like a do-it-yourself tool or anything that has to do with crafting, with arts and crafting, you can find those usually. They're pretty cheap, go between like $10 to $20 or euros. And it creates this this one letter you hammer it, and you got your letter with minimum 4 hits, I guess. Yeah. No. This one. So this one is a specific metal. So this one is etched, and this one is again imprinted with a hammer and a stamp. These are ColdTi plates. So you have the 3 different metals that are usually used, which is aluminum. Actually 4. You have steel. No, sorry. Aluminum, iron, stainless steel, which also comes in 2 variables with the A2 304 steel or the A4 316 steel. And then there is different kinds of titanium. Usually you want the grade 2 to 4. Depends which one you can get. But I believe most manufacturers use the A2 for titanium. So, and then we have, here's the example wallet, be your own bank. It's just a private key. And then here we go. The first one, stress test heat. So he's taking the torch to the, which one is the first? The Billfodl. Giving it a good dash. And then we see the result. So this is with most of these tile-based seed backups, where whenever you apply heat, it starts warping the metal, and then they fall apart and crumble. Basically, if you just move them, then they open up completely, and there is a complete data loss. So you would never be able to restore your seed words from this backup. If you have this in a house fire, it burns up. There is one caveat. So a torch can burn hotter than a house fire. So you might be okay with this one, but I wouldn't trust it. So it could still warp even in a house fire, and then you have a catastrophic data loss, which is unrecoverable, and you're out of the money, you're out of your crypto if you have to rely on that backup, which wouldn't be good. Ideally, you have multiple backups, so you could use the Billfodl, and then if your house burns down and you cannot restore it from that backup, you can still use your secondary backup. But that's like additional cost. You have a suboptimal backup, so why even have it? I would go to a better, more stable, more fireproof backup anyway, so you're protected better. And then you at the end you have to choose which one is the best for you, because most people have it only in paper, and paper burns immediately. So Billfodl, for example, is already an upgrade over any paper backup, I would say. But it's in the extremes, which can be a common thing, that you have a house fire. I would want a better one. Okay, and then the next one is the CryptoSteel. So you can see, oh, here, this is a really good. You see from the side how the metal is warping because only one side is heated, and that can also easily happen in a house fire, where it's just one side is exposed to the heat wherever the fire is coming from, and then it's just going to warp the metal because of the different plates. Yeah. So this is the result. So yeah, you see there is a catastrophic loss here as well. So this word is unrecoverable. If you lose 1 or 2 words, it's still recoverable, mind you. Maybe even up to 3 for a normal human, which doesn't have access to data centers. But I wouldn't want the risk. So anything that has tiles like this, you might be lucky and it's only 1 word lost, but why take the risk? Yeah, this is gruesome. Like, look, even some of the whatever additional colors or something they have is melting off. Oh. Destroyed. That backup is unusable. And then this one's a stress test specifically of the screw that holds the 2 plates together. A lot of those tile-based seed backups, they have two parts. That one is a cover plate, or you have basically you have two parts, and then you have 1 to 12 on one side, and then 12 to 24 on the other side. You put them together and against each other, and which is supposed to provide additional security from any elements from outer forces, and also provides read protection, so that if you carry it around, not anybody can just see the words. And these screws are basically the point of failure in them, and it's depending on which type of material they're also made out of. Some of them, I've seen the test obviously already, but some of them are from lower quality material, and it completely melts away, so you have to watch out for that. Let's see, next one, we got the, yeah, it's the ColdTi. So you can see it's melting away here a little bit, the screw. The words itself, they're still readable. You will be able to recover it because this one is just a plate, and then you etch or you stamp. So this is stamped and this is etched. Etching obviously is not as readable. The stamping itself, because it's really an indent in the metal itself, it's creating this how do you say that in English? Actually, I'm missing the word here. An indent. Yeah, because you're creating that indent. It's you could read it, and if you know those childish or those old Inspector Gadget trick where you go over with a pencil, you would be able to read it again, even if it's like covered with dirt and debris and anything, because the graphite goes into those indents when you smash over it with the pencil. Yeah. Okay, then the next one, what is this? Crypto key stack. This seems to be also multiple plates and then some painted over and screws. Yeah. Okay, this one looks fairly good. So it's protected well. Screws seem to hold up. We got the edge words readable, and we also got the stamps very readable. So this one's a good recovery, same as the ColdTi Plate. What do we have here? This is the Bitkee. So this one has actually a key already on it. So you would use that one. Actually, I wouldn't recommend those in general, because it means somebody just generated the key, and you have to trust in that, unless there is some kind of. Let me actually double check that if it's pre-printed or not. I think it was. Is it here? So we got the QR code, and then yeah, it's pre-stamped. So I wouldn't trust those. Yeah, there's Bitkee. No setup required because it came with the keys already laser engraved on the metal, crisp and clean. One worth noting is that you should only use the service to create BIP38 or BIP39 encrypted backups. That is, private key data requires a password that you don't give to Bitkee to access. Otherwise, Bitkee becomes a trusted third party, and you're hoping that they don't keep your private keys and steal your money at some point in the future. Yeah, so it's like, not sure if it's worth it to use such a system. Also, it's only one key, and it's only for Bitcoin. It's already immediately it's immediately a downgrade and not really usable for DeFi. Okay, and, so this is it, and how is the recovery? So you can see it's still readable. The QR code probably won't work because of the black spots and not being very readable, but I guess you can still recover from the imprinted private key. So you would be fine on that. And for a cryptos key stack, yeah, that's all of them, the Billfodl and the Common. Okay. Now let's go to corrosion tests. So this is just, what was it? Muriatic acid for half an hour. So highly abrasive. And I also put a few pennies just to see the results. So there you go. And then, oh, zoom in, zoom out. You can see. So the etching is fairly hard to read. The stamping will always be a better result just because you get those indents and those grooves. But yeah, the etching is almost unreadable, especially here in the middle, where it was under the flame earlier. The metal itself will hold up really good though, because that specific one was a titanium one. And then we got the Billfodl and the what is it? The other, I forgot the name. Whatever. So the plated ones, those hold up fine to corrosion. I believe this was stainless steel, so they shouldn't have too much of a problem. If you leave it for longer under any corrosion, there will be issues. But for just half an hour in asset, as you can see, there is no additional data loss. So this one was already from the previous warping. If it's a house fire, it's lost anyway. But the asset itself didn't seem to create any additional damage. And you can still read the initial letters that were still there from before. You can see, yeah, D, M, N, T, B, and so on. So next on, we move to the crushing test. This was 20 tons, I believe. Yeah, 20 tons of force that he applied to those. And then we can see the Billfodl, I believe, is crushed first. Yeah, that one. That one is getting smashed and destroyed, ladies and gentlemen. That CryptoTeel and Billfodl, yeah. So imagine your house is burning down, the roof collapses, some, I don't know, maybe something heavy falls on it. You take it with you somewhere, and then you fall down. It gets lost. It's gonna get smashed by rocks while you're rock climbing or something. I don't know. Whatever happens. Catastrophic failure, and you will never be able to recover your seed that way. And I mean, hopefully everybody stay safe. Don't go to dangerous places with your seeds. Make sure that if you live in an area where earthquakes can happen, that you maybe also store your seed backup in a place where it's easier to recoverable after an earthquake. So I don't know, if you live in a giant skyscraper that if it topples down, you will never find your seat back up again, maybe store it somewhere else. But hey, look at that. Chrispy in the house. Hey. Want to join me? DM me if you want to join me. I'll send you the link. So the earthquake, if that ever happens in your area and you're in a normal house, you will be able to recover the seed. But if you then use a seed backup that is going to get crushed, you're still out of your backup and you won't be able to recover it. So you have to think about a little bit about it in advance and say to yourself, like, hey, maybe if I'm living in an area that's prone to earthquakes, maybe I put my seed backup on my dacha, or I don't know, in your garden or whatever, so that if there is something happening, it's easier to recover. Next one, we got the crypto key stack, which is a similar issue. So any of those plates, plate-based, and then little tiles, they're just gonna get destroyed. Just copy that real quick. Yeah, smashed. And then anything in between, all the tiles in between will get lost. Unless this is just the plates. So if it's plates, it's still readable. Ah, yeah, okay. This one is with the stamps and the etched ones. So you can still make it out, even though it's warped. This one would survive it. This one's a good one. And you got all the words in there. Horse, nerf, toddler. No worries about that one. But yeah, the moment you have anything with like small tiles where you form the individual words, those are unrecoverable from a giant crush test. So this one, which one is this again? That's the ColdTi. Okay, so this is the titanium one. This one is obviously still readable and you can recover it. It's just that it's bent a little bit, but otherwise it's fine. Then the next one is the Bitkee. So yeah, that one was the pre-prepared one. You can still read it, it's fine. And here is the final ranking that he does. You can check out the block itself. Thank you. I'm gonna go to the next one. Part 2. Let's go. Got more wallets. We got the Symbit and so on. Let's see. Hey, and Chrispy is joining us. Wave at me if you're ready. You look ready. Yes. Okay. Hello there.
I'm always ready, man. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, good.
Good to see you.
Just looking at seed backup gore, all the mad things that can happen to your seed backup. Checking out all the different solutions that are out there. Are you?
Yeah. That's a big topic, right? We got so many people who just don't do anything. So how many people?
Paper.
Well, how many people do you
Paper
know?
and software.
How many people do you know didn't even write it down? I'll get it later.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God. And then they find out later, they do some sort of an upgrade and they do, I never wrote it down. I can't get it back. It's not funny, but
I've heard of two. I heard already of 2 house fires where that had happened. So
yeah, that's
from
no
people
joke.
in the chats. Yeah. Everybody thinks like, hey, it's so far away, it's not going to happen today. But if you think about it, if you look outside, there is always some kind of sirens going on, especially in big cities. There is a siren like every 5 minutes. There is a fire, there is some accident. Something's always going to happen, and the chances are pretty high that something might happen in your neighborhood as well. So
yeah, I wouldn't want to scare everybody that, bad things are going to happen to everybody, because obviously all of our houses don't burn down. But just because it's never happened doesn't mean it couldn't happen, right?
Check it out. Wind Mechanic says, apparently that happened to one of my onboards. I want that person. It's like there, right there. Thank you, Wind Mechanic, for the comment.
Well, I went my whole life without knowing anybody whose house burned down, right? And then one night at 3 in the morning, I fell asleep on the couch. You get a knock on the door. It's the fire department. My mother-in-law's house is on fire, right? Burned down. And now she was safe at the time, and that was fine. But I mean, it burned down to the ground, like nothing left. And so, yeah, I mean, it does happen. And in any case, you can misplace things too. So taking, the right precautions, particularly if this is a lot of money for you, right? It's pretty important.
Yeah, that's right. Though. All the memory's gone. Anything you own gone if it's burning down completely. Like for physical objects, you for most of the stuff, photographs and so on, you don't even have backups. So yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, for that stuff for certain, But anyway, I don't think the insurance company is going to cover "I lost my seed" phrase.
Yeah.
Assuming you have insurance. Oh, cool! I saw that you're doing this. Doing this topic. I like this topic a lot.
Yeah, checking. I'll try to educate as many people as possible. And speaking of most people don't even do it. Some wallets even don't require it. Some wallets even say like, hey, maybe I think MetaMask started doing this at some point, where you don't even have to write down the seed words, and they don't do this additional test where they question you like, hey, did you really write down? And then they want you to enter the seed words into your keyboard, which is also horrible in general. So always get a hardware wallet, do it on a hardware wallet, because those actually force you to create, at least write it down on paper at the very least. But
yes.
some of them, they don't even warn the users, and then they're just on the PC, and malware can get to it. And if the PC crashes or loses the data, then they're out of their money as well, which is really sad.
Yeah, I was pretty lucky in that I had taken the advice early on to get a hardware wallet, like even before Hex launched, and so then I actually, I think you might remember this. Maybe Richard had done a video specifically telling us how to claim Bitcoin, Hex through Bitcoin using the ledger. And then I never went back, but I periodically I will use I'll use a hot wallet, particularly on MetaMask, and but I'm connecting through ledgers, right, when I do that. And so for a while there, I was keeping track of the seed phrases on those. I probably should, but I don't now. So I can tell you that it does warn me that I haven't written it down.
Yeah, so there is a small reminder periodically.
Yeah, but it didn't require me to do it. But if I did write it down, which would mean I'd have to push the button to get it, I think it does make me verify it, if I recall correctly. But yeah. It's so I know there's tons of people that I've talked to, they don't go any further than that, And of course, I get nervous just over the fact that I have to type it back in, for the MetaMask, right? Because you want to be super paranoid about if somebody is actually watching you, right? I mean, that's certainly a attack vector.
I'm getting super paranoid about it. I'm closing my windows, turning off the lights anytime I do anything with my seed words. Like, I'm going into dark room. Nobody, I'm not saying them out loud even. I put away my phone, not in range of any cameras or anything.
You don't read out loud. You just sit there and read out loud. It's some Mission Impossible stuff for sure.
I wonder if at some point the security will be so great and everybody can trust it so much that you can go, hey, Alexa, save my seed phrase, please. It would be very convenient for a lot of people if it was possible to do it in a securely way that only you can get it back and it's safe and so on. But we are so far away from this utopia, unfortunately, that we have to deal with this metal stamping. But it's the best we have right now.
100%. Well, you also, of course, this doesn't sound like DeFi when I say this, right? And so I'm a big DeFi proponent, but of course I like the fact also that if somebody gets a hold of my credit card, I can do a chargeback, and so there are things that are in place for regular finances, right, whatever you want to call that are very useful, but are centralized, and of course we don't have that capability built yet. And I don't know what that capability would look like. It certainly wouldn't look exactly the same way. But of course, with these CBDCs, these central bank digital coins that are coming out, they will have some aspect of that. That's why I think we saw one right recently that had come out, and people were complaining about it, that it was going to allow chargebacks, right? You could actually.
I don't remember the name or anything. I haven't heard about it, but I would reckon that it will be in crypto at some point anyway. So they could even have this functionality for USDC with an additional new smart contract. Lock your USDC or whatever coin actually in even your wrapped Bitcoin, or your Ethereum, your Hex, whatever it is, your Pulse. You can wrap that into a smart contract that has this functionality, and then a third party has access to that and can say, okay, if something happens to your purchase, or you don't get your product or whatever, you can do a chargeback. That would completely be possible. It's just you don't have to allocate like all your funds into that wallet. Maybe you put in like 500 $500 in there, and then you pay. Ideally, it's also separated with privacy, so it's somehow gone through a mixer before from your main wallet. You put that into your account that you do your hot wallet, your payment stuff, your purchases with, and then this separate account also has the ability to do chargebacks in that service that you opted into. That would be ideal in the world. And then everything you can still track everything. You can still have all the like nice what is it called, amenities of the old world of the finance 1.0. Yeah.
Yep. The amenities of that. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I don't know. I do. I got a few friends that are like crypto only, self-custody only, 100%, and I get that, right? I get the feeling behind that. So I don't know what the future is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be some Frankenstein mishmash of technologies, or it eventually, like a lot of things, do we end up with, ISO standards, or something that describes exactly what you're talking about, and people put products out that have to adhere to that. Of course, still requires a middleman of some sort, right? I mean, so it's really hard to go that far, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, maybe there'll be one, crypto to rule them all in the end,
But I reckon the moment you have that middleman on crypto, it will still be cheaper than Finance 1.0, because you just don't have the same overhead. It will be so much better if we have that just in crypto and all in the digital space.
Sure.
Well,
from a technology advancement point of view, right? I know how we feel. I think how we all feel about crypto and about it being self-custody and all that. But sometimes it leads you to not really consider just how much friction can be removed by going part way, not going all the way. And of course, I don't want anybody to have custody and be able to take my things, right? Got that. And so I'm not recommending that, but I can just see that there's tons of opportunity to reduce the middleman, all over the place, even if it lands just short of all of us having, 100%, control of our own stuff. Again, not promoting that's the right way it should be, but that I can see that.
Yeah, and in the end, people should be able to choose how they want to use it. There is a scale for convenience and security. It's just that with the money that you store long term, I would err on the error on the side of error and say I want the maximum security for that one. Like you want your gold also in the safe. You don't want it just lying around on your desk like your like your normal wallet, right?
Well,
you have
sure.
like $100 or something in your wallet, and then you pay with that for your coffee, for your Starbucks, whatever it is. Yeah. But you don't have it. Yeah.
I was going to say it'd probably be unrealistic and unsafe for all of us to have gold and have hidden bunkers everywhere in the ground, right? Because so there's some reality to that. I mean, there's only so much you can do. You can't store everybody's value, hidden in concrete somewhere. So,
I forgot who told me that story. I think it was one of my friends. The grandma, she had all those like gold jewelry, and she hid it on a farm under some tree, and she died without telling anybody where it was. They couldn't recover it. Yeah. It's I don't know. Probably in 200 years, somebody will develop that land or something, and they will find a treasure trove.
Oh, sure. Well, we see that all the time. I'm sure it happens all over the world, not just here. But people will hide things in their attic. They'll hide them in the wall. They'll hide them inside couches. But if they didn't share that information with anybody, nobody knows.
There is a very famous story, 12 chairs. I don't know. Is it a Russian one actually? 12 chairs. Do you know it?
No, I don't. No.
No.
The name doesn't sound
what is
familiar
it?
offhand.
On her deathbed, Ippolit Matvievich, Vorobinov's mother-in-law, reveals to him that she managed to hide her jewels and gold and so on in a set of 12 chairs before the revolution came, worth a fortune. Yeah, it's a Russian story. Perhaps 150 rubles by now. Ippolit sees this hidden treasure, an enormous opportunity. So, and then he auctioned off the chairs or something just a few days before, and then this whole story is of him trying to go after all the people that bought the chair on the auctions and try to find which one has the jewels. And then this whole epic story of traveling all around the world and trying to within Russia obviously, but trying to get to the last chair that has all the jewels in it, or find the chair that has them.
Oh, so funny. So funny. That's like your worst nightmare. Yeah. So the way I look at it, I take the actions that I want to take, to make sure certain things are safe. But you know what? I'm not going to be here. So afterwards, it won't make a difference whether or not they auction my shares if I don't tell anybody. So.
Yeah. It would be nice though if you could just give it over to your children or your relatives or whatever, and then have them have an easy access. But because with gold it was always problematic, like because it's heavy and it's a lot to deal with. You have to deal with selling and everything. But with crypto, for the first time, it's easy to manageable. It's a small form factor, just a few words that you can grant access to somebody. I mean, hell, if you wanted, you could just teach your children a little rhyme or a story word by word, let them remember it, and then in the end, at like when they're 18 or something, tell them, oh, whoa, by the way, that story that I told you, it's actually the encryption key, and here is your here's your reward for memorizing it or something like that.
Yeah, sure. Well, didn't some of the early guys, when they used to be able to make their own wallets and addresses, do things like that?
Yeah.
Which
some of them also
problematic.
Yeah, some of them also lost all their money because all the bots and spiders started crawling and brute forcing all the brain wallets and songs and riddles and whatnot. Yeah, so you'd have to have a really good good randomized wallet. You cannot just use any type that you spun up by yourself with a few words, because it's just not secure. There is a whole there is a whole academic research done about that, and some people are. Do I have that? I think I showed that video already. I'll give it to you another time. It would take too much time to find it right now. Yeah. But so far we got those. Look, beautiful Coldbit passphrase, crypto hacks. That one's just plain steel, isn't it? Stainless steel. Wait, let me double check. Coldbit says that it's designed to store passwords and BIP39 encrypted seed phrases. 24 seed phrase. Yeah, I just stamp into it. It's just a giant block, and then nice. It's a hexagon, so you can have like 6 and then three words. So you got 6, 18. Maybe you'll manage like 4 words on it if you stamp it really small.
Can't get away from the hex, man.
Can't get away from it, no. But even if no, you can do 2 words, so you have 12, and then 2 of them make 24 if you go that route. Yeah. 4 millimeter thick stainless steel plate is the next one. Coldbit. So the plate ones are really good at dealing with recovery. but they're also so bulky. Like, would you want to run around with a plate like this if you ever have to? Some of them are really junky though, like this one.
Where are you going to put them? You know?
No. This is the Hodl Wallet, same as the Billfodl. Those are the junky ones. Oh, but it's 316 stainless steel. This one, clone of Billfodl. Yeah. And then this guy here, seed steel. Yeah, this one. Similar setup. So just copycats. Copycats here. This one. This is a giant. Like those tablets are like this, like your full head. It's so big. God. No. This one. This is also giant. But these are really good for recovery. So if you stamp, if they have a stamp tool usually included in the kit, and you really stamp in that that column for the letter. So first word, what is it? It's H. Hodl. Okay, so this is Hodl, the first word, and the second word is Hodl again. Oh, you just did Hodl. Okay, Hodl, 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 Hodl. But those are easy to recover, and they can withstand almost anything, especially if it's the thicker ones. The thicker they are, the more they withstand. So this one is pretty good for crisis recovery. This is just a copycat again. Billfodl. This is a normal. Is this stainless steel? Steel, yeah, steel. This one, oh, this one comes even with a jig. That's nice. Look at you, allowing people to stamp everything. It only has 4 words though. The first 4. I like the ones where you have additional recovery options, where you have the number of the word, and the full word. I prefer those. Seems like at least it seems safer to me because of the redundancy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just a setup. That's those are so flimsy. Discussed this earlier in the stream already, but yeah, they fall apart. They crush like croutons, and then they're completely useless. That one's actually pretty small. That's not too bad. Like a hand. So this is some of the testing done. Yeah, this is after the fire test. So this one's pretty easy to read to get the information back.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't like about this one though is that it's not protected against somebody just seeing it, the plate. So it's good because it has one plate that makes it structurally rigid. But then the moment you leave it open, lying on your desk or something, it just can be read out. So you have to have an additional cover for it, so that people can see it. This one actually survived the fire test, so no warping on this one. Did a better job here. That's a newer version of the Billfodl. This is this rod. That one's gonna survive almost anything. But it's harder to stamp, I believe. Like you have to freehand that shit.
That doesn't look like I could read that one.
This one? It's a little bit hard on the etched one. So if you do etching, it's a little bit hard to read, but I think you would still get it. With the stamping one, the stamping one is always better. The stamping one allows you to have those indents in the steel.
Yeah.
Even if you cannot read out the words, you just scrape off the first layer a little bit, and then you can see the indents in the steel really. And even if the indents are super, super small, you could see it with a structure analysis. There are some tests you can do where you can see the indents in the metal with, I think it's sonar. I'm not quite sure about it, but you can read the stamp indents even on the other side. because the metal deforms even through the part that is not stamped. You can see those indents a little bit deeper with special tools. That is not with your eye. Oh, yeah. Cold storage coins. Oh, that one looks. So I don't think the QR code will work, but maybe you can still read the normal key. So which one did you opt for, if I may ask? I don't know if it's too personal. Do you have something in metal?
I'm not as technologically capable yet. Though I did look at yours for sale a couple times when you had designed.
Okay.
Yeah. I've gone.
Those are the simplest. It's like I went for the simplest version that I could find, because those are all over-engineered and they're so expensive and they're super hard to scale. Like what I liked I researched this originally just for myself, and what I found is that they are the easiest to scale while having the best protection that you could get, because you can get washers anywhere and they're super cheap. Like one of those. I don't have the big ones here. Oh, wait, do I have it here? Oh, it's heavy. Oh. So this is the biggest one. This is for 24, and those, I think that one was €4.70. So it's like $5.
Yes,
and it's A2 graded steel. And even if you go with the smallest one, where you can also do 24 words if you do it double-sided, which is super tiny, but it's still the same type of A2 steel. You get the best protection. You got it tiny. And you got visibility protection, because you cannot read the seat of that, right? Because they are all hidden from you. And you can just, the moment you have everything set up for that, like the basic, you get your hammer, you get your jig, and you get your first few washers and everything. You can scale that and have 20, 30 so additional backups that you could do for your family, your friends, or just for yourself. If you have like a bunch of different seed wallets, one for Ethereum, one for Optimism, one for BSC, whatever you have, like even for Bitcoin and so on, like you can make really easy a lot of backups very cheaply. And all those things like this one, you're paying $100 every time you want to do only one backup. This is what riled me up the most. When I was looking at it, I was like, damn, some of them, like, wait, do I have it? I have it here. Some of them, yeah. So for some of them, you can get away cheap, 30, 75, but then you also have to take into consideration, is it safe enough for me? Because as you've seen, some of them just crumble. So they are, even if they're cheap, it's not worth it to get them. If you want, and they're warping from fire and so on. But some of them, like this one, 80 pounds. This one's $200 for one backup. Like, what the hell? 350. Yeah. 366.
That is pretty crazy. Yeah, especially with of course, the more somebody's involved, crypto, and the longer they're involved, the more they have, right? So it's not just one
Ideally,
of them. It's 10, 12, 20.
Yeah, ideally. And so this is also best practice. As a side note, the moment you do anything new, the moment you switch from one wallet system to another wallet. So even if you started out with something like MetaMask in the beginning, and then you move over to Rabby, to internetmoney.io, to Aurochs wallet, maybe you had some seeds back in the day stored in myEtherWallet or something like that. Every time you go into a new system, you should also regenerate your seed words again, and then if possible, move the funds over that you want to use on that new system. Because anytime that you use your old seed words, you're risking that the old system has some kind of failure mode that wasn't discovered. You're messing, if it's a software wallet specifically, you're messing with an input into your keyboard for the seed words most of the times. So that's an additional issue. There's so many things where you can fail and then just lose it. So generate new wallet seeds, and ideally also always use a hardware wallet anyway, so that when you connect to any of those new wallets, that they are protected and separated, and none of the funds, like imagine you used myEtherWallet in the past, everything's safe, everything's good, you connected to Rebby Wallet, and then Rebby Wallet has some kind of critical vulnerability that nobody knew about, and hackers are just sweeping everybody's wallet, and you were protected before, but now because it's something new and something new, a new hack or exploit was discovered that reads out your seed phrase, you're out of your money. That would be so horrible.
Yeah, I remember that myEtherWallet. I remember that. I should probably go check mine and see if there's anything still in there.
I still have one. I checked it just the other month or so.
Yeah, I mean,
still has like $30 on it.
It doesn't go anywhere, so it's still there. But I mean, I'd have to. And of course, at the time, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So, because this is way back, all the way 16, 17. So I had a JSON file. So I think it was a JSON file, right?
And then you store that JSON file on your PC as a backup, as a normal readable file, and it's like it's there forever. If any kind of malware just goes into your PC at some point and just read out all your even deleted files, it can just sit in the background for like 8 hours and just scan all your deleted files that you ever had on your hard drive. And if they're lucky, they're going to find the data if you didn't overwrite it with anything. So then you're also out of your money.
Yeah, I forgot that I had that. It was a while ago.
Wow. That one also has a stress test. This is the most expensive one, $366. That's an intricate system. So you're stamping the word out of those little brackets here. It's protected in a cylinder, and then you have your metal plates one after the other. Which one? This one seems a little bit risky because you don't have any markings or information. I guess. Wait, what is the code that is used here? No, I think this is just about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 though. It's not 8. It's a little bit weird because you don't have any markings, you don't have any additional information on there, it seems. So if you lose the order of this, if this gets somehow bent or crushed, you won't know which word is in what order, and this is unrecoverable.
It'd be a hell of a puzzle.
Yeah. And then you go, technically you kind of lost your money. But it's crush proof. It's holding up pretty well in the crush test, as we saw just now. And then this one as well. This one seems pretty solid. Yeah, I like this one. 1 to 24 words. You're stamping. You get the jig with it, but it's super expensive. God damn it. So that's one backup you get for. Wait, how much was it? $350? $350. Okay, that's one backup that you get. For how many of these can you get for $350?
Well, you said they're $5 each, right? So that would be 20 per 100. So 60, 70 of them.
Well, you also have let's be cool and remove the stuff like the hammer. So let's say $20 for a hammer. Say 15 for a jig. I get -20 for the metal stamps or something, and then the rest you have at home. So 295 divided by 5. Yeah, 59, 60. Wow. God damn it.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
60
That's a lot.
backups.
That is a lot. Yeah, you know. I'd make a joke about sending seed phrases off to the internet so somebody can make them for me and send it back, but I don't think that's a good security practice.
Yeah, I mean, it would be really nice if it was if there was a secure way. I guess you could do it actually if you use encryption. Listen. So this is
you'd have to encrypt.
Children, right? Don't do this at home. Okay, this is highly speculative, just for the fun now. You could theoretically use an encryption on the seed that makes it unreadable or unrecoverable for anybody, then send that to somebody who has one of those giant industrial, you know, those
CNC machine,
laser cutting machines that etch and cut out the metal for you. You can ask him to do the plate and the exact steel or titanium, and then tell him, like, I want my words in specifically that order. Put them in your tool. Let the laser cutter do the cutting, and then send them back to me. And then you still have to do your own backup only for the encryption key to decrypt the seed words that you already encrypted before. So you could do that, but I wouldn't recommend it, and it would also probably cost like 1,000. I don't know, maybe not 1,000, but 300, $500 or so to do this with a professional laser cutter machine. So it's like, why would you even do that?
Yeah. Have you ever used a printing press before? No. You ever seen one? Right. No. And so how you would set type. We used to call it typesetting. And so this, I'm just thinking about this as you're talking, right? And so if I wanted to go print something, I would have basically a jig like you're talking about, right? And you would have a piece, I forget what they would have been called, for each one of those letters. We actually used to make these for rubber stamps back in the day.
I guess.
They would be like the rubber stamp, but it's the same. It's very similar to what you're talking about. But you'd have this big case full of pieces, right? And then you'd have a jig-like device, and you would just put all the letters that you wanted in order. And then you had it. So I was thinking, of course, it'd probably just be super expensive, and there's a security problem with, like if I marketed a bucket of letters, right? A bucket of letters, and then they ship them to somebody, and somebody just picks the ones that they want, and they put them in their jig and they store them, right? That would be a way to get away from having to actually do any work other than assemble them in the right order and put them in the jig. And of course, downstream, you have all the other problems of what if the jig melted, they got mixed up, all that kind of stuff. But I was just thinking as you were showing those and talking about it. Yeah, like that stuff.
Like this.
Yeah. Because I'm old enough that we used to do things like that.
That was a whole work for a gazette to do this.
Yeah, it was hours of work. Yeah.
To set up that a news article or whatever out of those.
Very similar. Yeah.
Typesetting. It's called typesetting. Okay. Yeah.
So I wonder if there is a world where that would be useful. I don't know. Probably easier to do Shamir or Samir than anything else, right?
Yeah. So because of those problems, like this is one big thing. I'm gonna state the obvious, but just because we had this topic now with the weird, funny example of sending it away. Do not do this. Like,
Yeah, no,
whenever
never.
you have somebody sending you a hardware wallet, or somebody sending you a software wallet with preset keys, that's usually a scam. So in the same way, you cannot trust anybody else to generate your seed words for you, and you cannot ask anybody as a service to prepare them for you, because that means that the seed is compromised and they have potentially also have access to it. This is also why any new wallet that comes out is always looked at very scrungingly, what types of keys they generate, how they generate it, and where this generated seed is stored, and how. Because some of the wallet providers, they try to do the systems where they actually generate the base seed and then generate all the other seeds based from just one seed word, which is ridiculous that this would even fly, or that they wanted to have the system, because basically you have access to all the crypto anybody ever generated in that wallet. And I forgot which wallet name that was, but it is super ridiculous to have this system like this. So yeah, you never want anybody else to deal with your seed words, or even see them, or prepare them in any kind of way. And this is why ideally you stamp them yourself, or write them down yourself. Yeah.
Right, because there's always a weak link somewhere on all of this, right? I mean, potentially. Like, I know you guys talked about it the other day, but the guy that came up with the idea of DNA coded only works so far as no one gets your DNA.
Which is pretty easy.
Which is pretty damn easy, right? I mean, so, I mean, you know, I guess, like you said, it's a sliding scale of what you need to do. Even though there is a sliding scale, I 100% reject hot wallet, no key. Right? Again, just how I feel about it, you know, because it's just too much of an opportunity for that to get screwed up, you know. If you want to do, if you know, a lot of ways, if I was going to act like that, I would just buy, I just buy paper Bitcoin or paper crypto. Why even bother self-custodying, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'd have more protection, you know. It's like if I decided I was going to go buy, you know, Bitcoin, I might as well just buy it on Coinbase and keep it there, you know, or go buy it on Robinhood if that's the case. If I'm not going to take the measures to protect it, right? Why even? Because anytime I send it to my own wallet, right, then it opens up that opportunity for it to be ripped with no recourse.
Some of them it even makes sense, like for bigger institutions, if they outsource that protection to somebody else as a service, then there is what do you call that? The responsibility is given to that other party, and then there is a claim on that responsibility that you pay for, and you can set it up with an insurance and so on. So you have a claim on that if something ever happens for that. So you can do contracts with that kind, but I wouldn't recommend it. Like, self-custody, I would say is better for the average user, especially for somebody who's
yeah. Well, I said we were just throwing out ideas as we're talking, not saying that people should use middlemen at all. But it's these are exactly the reasons why we gravitate towards you know, custodying our own stuff and controlling our own stuff, right? Because otherwise you're subject to all these forces you can't control out there.
Yeah. Check this out. Speaking of missing links and losing control, that one melted completely. Jesus Christ.
Not good.
But
what temperature do they put these at? Do you know?
So I think it was 2,500.
Damn.
Let me double check. It's a blowtorch. It should be around 2,000, 2,500. I just want.
This would be fun to do.
Okay, here. This was the original. So it had some glass, It has some encasings here, and then the rings, which has only the private key, by the way. So this is not even. It is prepared, and you have only a private key for one Bitcoin wallet. It's not DeFi capable. No. Okay, but
Cool. Those are pretty cool. I haven't. Honestly, I haven't gone and looked at anything like this. So it's a good thing to see.
House fire temperature peak at 700 degrees Celsius and 1,300 Fahrenheit. As I mentioned, sensor capable of reading temperatures of 2000. I was able to get from end of the torch was nearly, so 2000 degrees Fahrenheit he is giving to the torch, and 1,100 Celsius. That's what this is what he's testing. Oh.
That's what you call a hot wallet for sure.
Yeah. Yes. God damn it! I didn't think about that. That's a really good one.
That's hot.
And I'm looking at these all day long.
To pick it up. Yeah.
Wait, where were we? Yeah, the rings. So this is 2000 Fahrenheit, 1100 degrees Celsius, completely destroyed. Nothing of the casing is left here, really.
I wonder if the ring has. Oh, there's the ring.
Yeah, the ring survives, so the information is still readable. That's fine, but it's also pre-printed. Like this is already immediately removing it from my consideration, and it's not DeFi capable because it's not seed words.
Yeah.
So you don't create it yourself, and it's not DeFi capable. The cold steel. So this steel usually survives fire, no issue. This one, those have the extra rivets, but it's still individual plates, and if you have warping, the letters can still jump out even on this one. Oh yeah, there is some that jumped out here. This is complete data loss. You will not be able. You only need 3 plus words to be lost, and you're out of the game. Yeah, that's your money gone at this point. Yeah, the steel plates usually survive it, so those are good. And then this one's corrosion test. Corrosion usually doesn't have an effect. This one's pretty hard to read, but if you have anything that's stamped, you're good, even with corrosion, because you can always clean them out, clean the ridges and so on. With etched stuff, it's a little bit harder. Yeah, but with stamping, you're always good, always on the safe side. Yeah, even those. That one is completely gone. Damn. Yeah. Hodl Wallet, completely broken off, warping.
Wow, look at that.
No. So this one's still readable even after the acid bath. That's fine. This one too. Steel plates. So steel plates, anything where you just hammer into steel or in titanium is good. Anything where you're stamping something completely. So this one is that one's a little bit hard. You have to restore it then properly afterwards. I think these are ridges that are real indents, so you might be able to figure out which one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 word and so on, and the ABCD. But you, I don't know if my child or something would be able to restore that if this was completely gone here, because they would have to know how this was set up, at what, how big the, how big each individual letter was and so on.
Yeah.
Crushing.
Oof.
Yeah, that one's, yeah. You can still recover it though, because you can still read it. That's fine. But it looks like it's a bigger groove, so you probably would be able to still read it. So that's good. Anything that is not just painted on or not just written on, anything that's really has an indent in the steel is really good. Wow. That one. Crushed 20 tons, by the way, for the crushing that he's putting on. That one actually survived, but I wouldn't trust it. So this one has the additional screws here, and it survived it. Okay, here's a note. This was the only tile-based device to survive all of the stress tests. I suspect that this was due to how thin the tiles are and how tightly they fit in the rails as such. When there was expansion, contraction, movement of a metal, all of the pieces remained together. Sounds flimsy to me. I wouldn't want to trust that. No. The discs, they survived this.
Definitely seems like stamping's the way to go.
Oh. That one's very intricate as well. That one's not gonna survive anything. It's just printed on. It's a plastic. Real Bitcoin address. Okay. And somebody else prepared it as well. That's so ridiculous. Why would anyone ever want to buy this? Tile-based Bunkeroid. It's ColdBit. Yeah, ColdBit. Steel Cpasule. I don't like those too much because they're flimsy and hard to read as well. That one is nice. Crypto keys. Crypto wheel. Fireproof up to 2000 Fahrenheit. Rust-proof, waterproof. We got another one. I mean, they're pretty much the same at this. So steel. We got the tile-based assembly. Okay. This one's the funniest one, where you can put in the words in this mechanism here, and then you have to trust that the mechanism is never broken open. So because the moment this one breaks off, you have all the individual tiles on the floor, and then you cannot restore the words. Yeah, we had this one earlier, and there you go. Okay, this one's just the moment. Can you still read this? This one's gone. Yeah, that's not recoverable. Best you have is the serial number. If this is unreadable, I don't know. But then what do? Do you contact the company and say, hey, I have serial number X. Can you please look up the private key for me, what this is, if they have a security backup of that?
Like
that
they
would
should
be
have.
Ridiculous if they are, if they have that.
Way too many opportunities for trouble.
The tile-based one, they just warp and they are unrecoverable. Just one after the other, they all fail.
So is this content that is part of the security practice? Is this something that gets put in there?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So my stream, sorry, I should have started with that when you came on actually. This stream is focused on security, best practices. People can ask me questions, anything about wallets, setup. I've been hacked. Maybe you want to update your security for your own wallets. You have questions on how to move funds. Well, whatever it is. Maybe you want to know what a seed phrase is because you have never done anything with crypto, and you only use Bitcoin. Not you didn't use DeFi or anything, and then you're like, oh, I only use private keys for all my life. So what is this? So you can ask any question that is for setups, for security, for that kind of topic. No. Well, I've already been on for like almost 1.5 hours because I've been going through these for some time. So I'm just gonna finish this one, I guess, and then I'm gonna close down the stream.
Okay, I'll stick with you for a couple minutes. I got to wrap in a moment for myself too.
This is the CryptoSteel capsule. I like the protection it has and the sturdity of this one. I think it is also on the Ledger website, if I'm not mistaken. I think they sell it on ledger.com. At least the derivative of it. Collaborations. Packs. Let's see, packs. Yeah, CryptoSteel capsule solo. There it is. Up real quick. There you go. So on the Ledger security store, ledger.com, and then we got the shop. You got the crypto capsule. I can see. So they have this little flimsy letters here. Each of those tiles is one letter, and then you form the words out of it. So 4 of those tiles make up one letter. But my issue with that is the moment you have a crush, it's crushed, and if it's bent a little bit, it's really hard to remove it out of the enclosure. So if during that process, during that recovery process, it somehow breaks here, you just got alphabet soup all over the floor. But overall, it's very sturdy. So this is like one of the better ones, but I still don't like how flimsy the individual tiles are, because it's protected from the outside from fire, and then nothing, because you can see this is where the fire was dealing its damage, and then everything survived. There is no warping inside from the fire. Doesn't look like, at least. The question is, how would it be for a prolonged fire? Like if it burned for half an hour or something in a house fire, would it then also start to warp inside and then maybe break? Sure about that. So the keys, obviously, it's just like a normal plate, but individual stuff. This one, I like this because it's less visible. So whenever you, but would you carry those around with you on a keychain? Not sure that's a good idea.
Around your neck.
Yeah, around the neck. It's like the the Ledger advertisement. Yeah. So this one survived, I guess, from the outside. No warping, which is good for the crypto wheel. Oh, this one. What's that? Aluminum? What is that? Ellipal Metal mnemonic, a bit HD and bunkeroid. Yeah, it just fails. Absorbing all of the heat rather than dissipating it. Cool. So just melting away your seed words. Great story, yeah. Ellipal. Wow.
A word in every drop.
Yeah. Reminds me of those, what was it? Fleeting Time. These famous oil painting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's your seed words.
Oh man.
Put that seed back up. Where are we? Wait, am I on the right one, or did I skip too far? No, that's correct. Okay, so we got the Fleeting Time one. This is another tile based. So these are really good. So anything that's plate based, it survives pretty well. This one is holding against each other, and you got, what do you have, 2? No, this is 1 seed. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have the full word, you have the word and the number up to 24. You have 2 steel plates against each other, protected from any spying eyes. So that's good. Quadrat Register. I don't like this saving system. Like, this is already it's too complicated, especially for an average user. And this was $350 as well, if I remember correctly. Damn. Another plate. Then that one got demolished. It's warping again, so any tile based is trash. This is the acid test, and yep, you won't be able to get any information from that wallet anymore. I like how the Bitcoin one is stamped indented, but the actual key is not. So yeah, it's like nice to know that if you had a house fire, or if you throw this into the ocean, leave it there for a few years, that you still know that this was a Bitcoin wallet, but you won't be able to recover it. It's like,
Yeah, done.
this could have been millions. This could have been the dream chest treasure. Oh, that one melted completely in the acid. Bye. And the tiles also sprung away. So that one has no additional damage, but it was already damaged from before, from the warping. And this is the CryptoSteel capsule. So this one survives pretty well. And this is just the steel plates. Those are really good. Yeah, hodl. You can read everything. But then again, yeah, I guess it's fine. I guess it's fine if you have them. You just have to put them into an additional enclosure so that you don't lose them, because this can be flimsy and be broken. That's why I prefer the bolt system, because that one is really rigid. Like it's really hard to crush or like lose one of the washers.
Well, and they are, 100%. I agree with that, because the rings are going to be a different material almost always, right? And they're not going to withstand heat and acid and all the other stuff, right? And so it's more likely that would break apart. Now, I guess if you can find them all, that might be okay. But you'd have to find them all. I'd rather not lose them in the first place.
Then we have this system here. So there is some data loss actually. Hodl, yeah, the L, the last letter is somewhere else when he opened it.
Yeah, it looks like they're stuck to the top for some reason.
Yeah.
Or whatever that is.
That one's also to flip. But this also, it's like it's an variation on the tiled based system. So anything that has individual letters, it's like immediately a no-no. That one we had earlier survived pretty well for the acid as well. This one is acid proof even inside, because the system is actually, that's also a little bit risky now that I'm thinking about it, because you are cutting those out. This could actually break out over time or warp if enough heat is given to it. So one of those smaller tiles might actually break out when you try to recover it.
Yeah, it's like a hanging chad.
Yeah.
Because what if they did pop?
That's a plate. Yeah, plate always good. This one's completely gone. And then we got the crush test. Yeah, this also becomes a little bit unreadable here. This, if you crush it the right way, especially if you, so this crush test that they have here, anything that is just printed on or painted on or written on, it's immediately unrecoverable in any real scenario where you have something like a building collapse.
Right.
Because all the dirt, it's not just the force that is applied, but you have also shearing forces, right?
Yes.
So the metal plates or anything that are being thrown around in the rubble, they get completely smeared off and scraped off. So anything that's like this, it's immediately gone. This is just still readable because it's in a controlled environment with pressure and from one direction, and that's it. And then we got the CryptoTeel capsule. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So this is, I think this is the last one. No, almost. But this is what I was talking about earlier. This is bent now, and you cannot unscrew it properly. Like, how do you get this out without breaking it apart inside?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the issue here. This one will have no issues, and that one under crush test will break apart, and then you got the individual tiles flying off. Oh, this one's pretty sturdy, yeah? That one's gonna survive it. I love those.
Look at that.
So sad. It's so sad to see, though, that those are actually sold a lot, and then people actually trust these kinds of systems, but you want them to be emergency proof. So why do you buy them if in an emergency, once they are subjected to like high forces, they cannot survive them? Why? Yeah. Wow. That's the last one.
All right, man.
Wow. Yeah. Thanks for joining.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for the invite.
Going through this.
I need to go do more research now. So
yeah.
But very good. And
everybody else as well. Hope you saw some stuff that keeps your brain active and wants you to check out what kind of backup security you have in your home.
Keep you up at night.
See you next Sunday, same time, 8 p.m. Portugal time.